stable. Oh yeah, no label. Oh yeah, you know me. I have only a path. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. Yeah.
All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome out. Welcome out. Happy Wednesday. I am your host and your brother in success, Chris Celeste, and welcome to A Look Behind the Curtain. It is your show to jump on and see what real people are doing outside in the trenches, whether it's in the digital world, in the traditional business world, personal development. And tonight, we're going to talk about one of the highest paid skill sets that I've ever actually come across inside of business, marketing, and honestly in the world. And the gentleman we're going to talk to tonight has quite the credentials when it comes to this exact skill set. So very excited to bring him out. And it's kind of a unique experience here tonight because he is going to be the first guest to actually be coming back to the show because we had him on season 1. So really excited to dive even deeper here tonight than we have on previous episodes here in season 2 as we first get to know some of our guests. So before we dive into all that and we get to meet our guests here tonight, a little bit of stuff we have to go over. First of all, if you're watching this, you're watching this on YouTube, so definitely hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes, any of the future value. And that way, you can always stay completely plugged in. I actually had someone reach out to me in Messenger today and ask if I had an email list. Being a marketer, I always have email lists, so that's a common question. But I mentioned to her, I was like, hey, listen, the email list doesn't even get to know about it as quick as someone who's subscribed and also has clicked that bell to all. So if you go ahead and do that, that is literally your fastest way to know when episodes are dropping. I also have other value drops that are coming. And so that's your best way of staying on the pulse of what's happening here on the channel. Also, tonight, our show is brought to you by the DD214 Secrets book. You can go ahead right now in the descriptions of this video and claim your copy for free. It's a digital download. You'll be able to dive right in. It's actually a little bit over 100 pages, so it's a pretty quick read. And if you're serious about, changing your life and creating success post-military, then it is the 5 core fundamentals, the 5 secrets you need to unlock for yourself to have a truly long-lasting wealth, build wealth for yourself. So go ahead and grab that if you don't already have it. We already have hundreds of people who are loving it and are creating results with it. So go ahead and grab that. So with all that being said, I'm very, very excited to bring out our guest here tonight. As I mentioned earlier, whoa, jumping all over the place. What's happening? Boop. I'm echoing through myself. There we go. We're good now. So the guest we have coming out here tonight is actually coming out for the second time. He is a professional copywriter. He is a public speaker. He is an inspirational human being. He is one of my good friends. I would even go as far to say a brother from another mother. We usually, before all the craziness, would meet up at least once a month, him, myself, and a couple other really close friends to kind of just shoot the shit, keep ourselves sane, talk business, talk life, and really help each other grow. And that's one of the things you're really going to pull from this interview here tonight, I believe, is just how much this man loves to help other people grow. And here are just a few of the credentials if you didn't get a chance to see the post of the gentleman who I'm going to be interviewing here today. The first email promotion that he ever sent out for a client. If you don't know what that means, we'll talk about it a little bit more here tonight. But it actually generated $1.5 million for that client in just 30 days. We'll talk about some of the things he's personally done for me, where he's actually made me over $15,000 in just a few days off of an email follow-up sequence he's built for me. But he's also been training clients through his fearless copywriting, through multiple high-ticket intensives and events. And he's currently the in-world copywriter for one of the biggest brands that we can't tell you about, but it literally has a worldwide following. And that's one of the things that I truly found unique about this gentleman too. So that's one of the reasons I love him to work for me and not just be a friend for me, but actually write stuff for me, is that he has this unique ability to get into your mind and write as if he is you. And not everybody in the world can do that. So without further ado, guys, let's hear it from the man himself. Give me a big round of applause and bring out Mr. Jason JBooms Legaard to the show. What is up, brother?
Boom. Here we are. What's up, Celeste? Yeah, brothers from another mother, experts at shooting shit and enjoying fine whiskey.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we enjoy them in really lame cups.
Yeah. I'm going to get scalded for it, but that was a good time anyway. So It's like, you do
No,
know I have like crystal glasses in the cabinet right next to
exactly. We're like, wow,
no
we'd want.
Dixie cups. We're good.
Yeah, we're fine. First
You're
and
classy man.
foremost, yeah. First and foremost, before we even get into all this tonight, just a stone cold honor. Once again, to be invited to contribute to your show, to contribute to your audience, and my goal here is just to be as real and raw as I always seek to be,
Mm,
and just pour into people. I realized a long time ago, and we'll hear more about it later on, more than likely, but owning my voice, a voice that God did give me, and it's to speak life over people. And the problem was, I didn't. I spent many years not speaking life over myself, and that's why this whole fearless copywriting isn't just, a catchy way to talk about my skill set and what I do, but it goes much deeper than that, which you've already kind of alluded to in the
mm.
parts of this intro. So first of all, just a stone cold honor to be here once again.
Awesome, brother. The honor's really mine. Let's be honest. It's truly, you're a unique human being, and I'm sure we're going to touch on that here tonight. If you guys have not had a chance to really dive into his complete story, like I said, we interviewed him on season 1. It's a complete hour-long interview. Season 2 is only 30 minutes, so you can get to know him on a much deeper level, know some of the childhood trauma that shaped him, and how he's overcome that and become the man he is today. And we're actually going to talk much more about his fearless copywriting here today, and one of the most amazing and inspirational transformations I have ever seen personally in front of my own eyes here in the last few years. When I first met JBoom, we were both freelancing for the same company, and the man I met then to the man you are going to meet tonight is not the same man. It's so crazy to think just the amount of growth that he's been through. And so, tons of people are dropping some love for you, Mr.
Oh,
David
right on.
Oderman, saying fearless.
Yeah,
Liam,
David.
Liam saying what's up.
Yeah,
And so, just real quick for everybody, again, guys, we did interview him on season 1. So if you want to go get the complete backstory, go there.
yeah.
But for everybody, real quick, just a real quick catch up so that
Mhm.
they can be on topic for us here tonight, or
Yeah,
caught up to on topic here tonight. Fill in the audience a little bit. Who are you? Where do you come from? What is your passion? What do you do? And what drives you?
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to take a little different angle, just because I would definitely encourage you can go into more of the depths with that other previous interview. But essentially, my name is Jason JBooms Legaard, and come from a very small town in North Dakota called Fortuna. At last count, it's got about 17 people in it. So where I grew up, very much a scarcity mindset. It's just that's just the way it is up there for most people, and kind of just lived life according to the plan. And I'm sure many people that follow you, Chris, had that same intention. Like, okay, well, I kick ass in school, and then I just go off to college. I went to North Dakota State, go Bison, and then it was going to be okay. Well, now I take those 2 degrees. I had double majors in speech communication and mass communication. So now I just go find that career, right? And then you plug in, and there you go. Like, you won. Problem was, I think I got the entrepreneur bug right after I got my degrees, because I didn't want to even do any of that.
Mm,
And so I had a very interesting journey of doing telemarketing jobs, random stuff here, there, everywhere. And then eventually helped my buddy launch his lawn maintenance company here in Arizona. And because we were going to use that to build income and freedom to launch our independent films.
nice.
And that was the dream.
Mm,
17 years later, it still hadn't happened. And eventually, and this ties in this whole fearless thing. I got to a point by the late 2015, I made a choice to walk away and be fearless in that decision. And I had to be, because I had no savings, I had no backup plan. I had all these dreams of entrepreneurship. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to build something. And then very quickly that didn't happen. And luckily, our mutual friend, his agency, was looking for a right-hand man, and I kind of stumbled into copywriting. And I've always been a writer. I had the background from college in communication, and I naturally just took to it, and just off being thrown into the fire, started cranking copy for his agency, for his clients, and then eventually leading to other opportunities. And then all of a sudden, night before Thanksgiving 2019, I'm in the deepest hole and pit of my life. Everything has fallen to shit. I am completely isolated, alone in my mind and in my heart and in my soul. I have I don't have income coming in. And then I got an email from a certain extreme personal growth program. And I had to be fearless and say, well, fuck it. I guess I'm going to try it out on this $1 trial, 14 days. And next thing you know, I embraced that journey of this extreme path to personal growth and taking myself on fearlessly, owning my shit, being able to face the dark, to find the light, and then eventually leading to, as Chris alluded to, and brother, I appreciate your feedback about my journey, because it reminds me of how far I actually have come through doing the fucking work on me fearlessly to eventually now, I work for my dream client that allows me to express this gift of my voice of fearless copywriting in a way that serves millions. And I get to operate from sole purpose every single day. But I had to be fearless at multiple times along the way because that's what it took. And there was no other way to get here.
Yeah, dude. It really has been an amazing thing to watch that journey. And for everybody here, I want to kind of just go back to give them a little bit more perspective. November, let's go back to that Thanksgiving, right? Because again, that's really where it starts to take off for you.
Yep.
I remember you start doing these morning walks, you start this new ritual, you start to build these new routines and habits for yourself that allow you to start to build more confidence really in the beginning.
Yes.
And I remember there was a mutual friend of ours who was liking and loving every one of your videos every time you would do them. And it was just like, I remember you mentioning to me, like, that's inspiration to keep going. And I kind of want, do you have a unique experience there? So I would love it for you to chat about, because what I find, especially what you and I do in the industry we live in, is that so many people have a message, so many people have a vision, so many people know that they're meant for more or could do more.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to getting out of their own way or finally breaking through or stepping out and becoming what that could be, there's always resistance there. And for whatever reason, and I'm sure you're going to enlighten us here, you finally decided to break through. So what was that thing for you? And then what allowed you to stay so consistent?
Oh boy, that's a hell of a question. And there's a lot of layers to it. But there's actually something that I came up with recently. I did my own personal took on what's called a darkness retreat that I heard about on a podcast, and I actually blacked out my master bedroom, and the goal was to be in there for 40 hours in the dark by myself with no phone. There's nothing. I made it 16 and a half, and then I stepped out because I got what I needed. But inside of that time, I came up with this formula, which was face yourself, forgive yourself, focus the frame, unleash fire and flow. And back then, the first step was it was the first two. I had to fucking face myself and the fact that I wasn't where I needed to be. And I had to own that. But in that ownership of all the mistakes, the things I didn't do, the consistency I didn't display before, at the same time, I had to forgive myself. Because I did the best I could with what I had, and I was still dealing with stuff from a long time ago, which is in the first interview, that I still didn't even know how to process or to find the power within it. I didn't know how to be fearless for myself. And that's where I had to start back then. And it was the small stuff. Like I said, it was those walk and talks. It was train for my first half marathon. It was very, very simple, but it sure as hell wasn't easy. So I'd say I can look back now and it came down to that first.
Yeah. I remember starting with the walk and talks.
Yeah.
And then I remember you finished that marathon, and I was just like, there was this thing that started just clicking in you. You're like, I wasn't a runner. I actually hated running. And now I'm a runner.
Despised it, dude.
Yeah.
Oh God. Just to the point of like, I was teased as a kid because I'd throw up on the gym runs, and I finally, that was one of those key decisions in the early stage, was like, you know what, I'm going to take something I hate and I'm going to go do it. I'm going to turn it into something I can conquer and actually learn to love. And then completed my first half marathon ever at like 48 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Very impressive. W- So I'm gonna kind of switch gears just a second.
yeah.
What do you think is the reason that because you found copywriting a little bit later in life, but you've always been drawn to words.
Mhm.
Obviously, you wanted to do film, and you've always been drawn to speaking and other things that we talked about in the first interview.
Yeah.
But when was it for you that it officially shifted? That like, oh wait, I'm good at this, and this could be my career. Like I should pursue copywriting.
Well, again, it was definitely more so a trial by fire. Once I started, got hired by my friend for his agency, he needed that new right hand man to handle a lot of different things, and the pretty much the main, well, and actually the reason he reached out to me is he was on my email list at the time, just my personal one, and he says, "Dude," he's like, I love this writing, hey, blah blah blah," and so that was the main, asset he needed on a consistent basis. So I was just like, all right, here we go. I guess I'm copywriting.
Mm,
And again, a lot of it was just out pure talent, and just the grind and just going from the gut and trusting myself in the voice that God did give me on how I can speak in a fearless way and get to the real and the raw and get right into the core of someone and show them like I fucking see you. And you
mhm.
can feel it in the words that I write because I write them fearlessly. I don't hide behind the words. And so next thing you know, it's just like the next helping with the next client, through his agency, and then moving on to a different opportunity, and which led to that very first, my kind of quote unquote first official, writing a full blown email promotion. And God, I can remember how that thing looked just aesthetically because I still didn't really know what the hell was going on and
Mm,
what I was doing. And I hope that actually that example can inspire someone who's worried about, well, the structure of my email looks a little wonky and I use too many colors to highlight things. I mean, dude, it was like a dumpster fire.
mm,
I remember how it looked initially, and it still converted and performed to that level. Why? Because people felt the fucking words
yeah.
and they're like, they don't care. I mean, they do, but they don't about the
Mhm,
look. What are they feeling
yeah.
in the words? And then, just as it continued to, my skill set continued to grow and I continued to kind of get in more depth with the study of my craft, especially in the last year. And then with just things that have evolved now where it's just like, okay, well, this is one major aspect of how I'm going to literally leave an impact on this world is how I am able to write as myself, but even as myself through my clients,
Mhm,
just like I did for you, with
yep.
that first project you hired me for back in the day.
Yeah. It's crazy. I've seen you do some pretty amazing things on the fly, and then
Yeah.
I've seen you write for clients from the strangest musical instruments you could think of to the most
Yep.
spiritual realms you could
Oh yeah.
dip into on the far reaches, and it's
Ooh.
crazy because it always just comes so naturally to you. So I wanted to know, like, when was that realization? Like, when did that really pop for you? Because I know,
Mm.
just from knowing you and talking to you in the last interview and stuff too, it's like there's a lot of doubt that came for a long time,
Oh.
a lot of self-doubt for a long way. And I know a lot of people listening can really relate to that. It's like,
Yeah.
do I really have what it takes? Am I really supposed to be this person? How do I measure up to others?
Mhm.
And I'm sure you and I are on the same page when it comes to the only person you should ever be measuring yourself is to the person you were yesterday,
Yep.
because that's the only person that really you're in competition with. So I appreciate you sharing that, brother. Let's talk a little bit about your fearless copy. Like,
Mhm.
it gives me goosebumps. I know there's stuff like you before, just like getting real and in the moment, and
Yeah.
then there's other stuff that you've written and talked about on your walk and talks, and like give me goosebumps
Yeah.
because it really is like the raw, just unfiltered. Here's my emotions. Here's what I'm feeling, and it
Yep.
does connect you. So,
Mhm.
do you have like some principles or key points that you would tell the listeners today
Yeah.
that would allow them to unlock that fearless side of them?
Sure. And actually, I want to make sure to answer a question you asked there. Like, when was that one of those moments where that doubt started to actually get kicked to the curb
Hmm.
and it was like started to own the skill? It actually was with the work I did for you, for your veteran community. because you said, hey, I need this campaign to re-engage a buyer's list. It's for a high ticket offer, and here's the deal. And I was obviously very familiar with your offer.
Mhm.
And the first moment of like, okay, I'm owning this skill is when you got the results in the conversions in that short period of time. That was the first part. But then it was when you sent and forwarded me emails from veterans. And some of the things they shared, I'm probably getting emotional. I think there's one gentleman in particular pretty much said, like, I was in a really dark place today.
Mhm.
And your email kept me out of that. It allowed him to shift.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. I never served in the military. I mean, my dad was in the Corps, and I grew up around the mentality. I studied military history and stuff, but I'd never served, and I was writing for you through your voice, and there was a veteran out there that got what he needed
Yep.
because I was in tune with you. And I went fearless in every one of those emails because I knew the importance of what those veterans needed to hear.
Mhm.
So they would know they were seen and felt and heard, and they could take a fucking shot at something new, just like everything you guys do with everything you put out is to awaken this new path.
Yeah.
So your campaign was without a doubt one of the defining moments of me owning my shit and saying, that's right. This is fearless copywriting, and it converts. As far as the other question, to help someone, principle wise or whatever, it's going to sound overly simplistic, but it goes into like what you talked about. Like, there's so many people, including most entrepreneurs, no matter what their offer is, whatever their niche is, they know they want to speak on something to their audience. They know they want to help them with their product, with their service. And then they hold back. They don't hit send on the email. And one of the easiest things I could suggest that always helps me is, especially because email is my top thing I love to write for.
Mm.
And I saw so many people at even those intensives that get so caught up in their own head, and they're like, well, Jason, can you look at this copy? And what do you think about, I told this story, but I don't know, and this, that, and the other. And I'd read it and I'd be like, that's a great story. Like, that's real. I can tell that's you.
Mhm.
Please hit send.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, number one, especially with email, it's one email. It's one Facebook post. Like, it can live on forever in someone's life, like the email that hit me and night before Thanksgiving 2019. But also your email will be gone this fast. Your Facebook post will be gone that fast. And then you're on to the next piece of creation. And to go a little on the deeper side, in regards to how do you get fearless in your copy? And you're like, well, Jason, I have a story. I know I have value, but I don't know who's going to listen to me. The more you can take yourself out of that equation, the better. And I understand there's the doubt, there's the fear, there's the unworthiness. I lived with that for 40 some years. But when you take yourself out of this equation and be fearless in your copywriting, what you need to realize is that, and many marketers will remind people of this, it's not about us. It's about your audience. It's about that person that needs to see your message. And what I will tell people is, listen, if that individual doesn't write that fucking email the night before Thanksgiving 2019, I might have blown my brains out 6 months later.
Mhm.
And I didn't realize that till after I'd started down the path of extreme growth, transformation, and healing. But then when I looked back, I'm like, wait a minute, I was in a pit of hopelessness. Well, what if you throw on 6 more months of hopelessness and you have no options and you have no power and you have no belief? But this person chose to write an email and they hit fucking send so I could see it and I could read it. And then I could receive it, and then I took an action. So if you, and this is heavy, I know, but I'm telling you, this is how you get fearless, is because you realize you can literally write the email that saves me in 2019. And the other thing I realized just recently, every time I write an email, a piece of copy that I know is going to hit someone the way it needs to hit them. And it's going to give them an opportunity to start that journey of transformation or to take that next opportunity in business or personal development or whatever it is. In the back of my mind, every time I write, I'm like, oh, I'm writing copy to save myself over and over and over again. And you could do the same in your own journey. It's like, you're going to save yourself from a year ago, 2 years ago, 40 years ago. The next time you write that email fearlessly and you hit fucking send.
Wow, guys, I just want you, if you just go back and re-listen to the last 2 minutes of what Jason just shared with you guys, because I think everyone needs to let that sink in. One of the main reasons why the people that I know are so successful and drive themselves is because they've figured this out, right? They're fearless in their messaging because of the impact it's making. I don't think that everyone fully understands the massive impact and the platform that the internet and social media has given us, and that by sharing our stories and being authentic and true, no matter what industry or realm or niche you're trying to help or audience you're trying to help, these things are impactful. And one of the other things that I've learned in my short time doing this marketing thing is that there's not enough voice. Like, if you already hear a voice in the market sharing one particular message, and that's the same story and message you have, that should not stop you from sharing your story and message. Because here's the thing: someone is going to relate to you and is not going to relate to the other person. And someone's not going to relate to you, but they're going to relate to that other person. And you're both going to be able to hit different sides of that audience and help them as a collaboration rather than a competition. And I think that's one of the best things, one of the big things OVF teaches, and a lot of my friends and everybody understand, much like Jason's nodding his head yes, is that, so much more can come from sharing your message, looking at things as a collaboration rather than a dog-eat-dog competition. And just go back and re-listen to what Jason said, guys, because it was just so powerful. Like, your words mean so much and your story needs to be heard.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So we only got 30 minutes, goes by so fast.
I was like, whoa.
I think I'm going to change the format. I think I'm going to, let me know, actually, I'll let the audience decide whether if you're watching this on replay or you're here live. Definitely comment, drop it in the chat. If you're here live, drop it in the comments. If you're watching replay, let me know. Would you like for us to go longer? Are you enjoying the content? Would you like to hear us just kind of go until the topic's over? Or do you kind of like the idea of being able to, my computer's blowing up right now, I apologize. Would you like the ability to, it literally is just like, all right, cool. Get these bite-sized pieces, or would you like for us to go more long form and just kind of have the conversation that's needed in its entirety? Let us know, and will let me know, and I will definitely keep it in my mind. So, Jason, last question I really want to ask you, brother, is, first off, are you still taking client work? Or I know you're going all in with with your dream client. So that's it, right? You're okay.
Pretty much. That's the focus, that's the main thing. But I just did it just for someone the other day. Like, I love when people reach out for help. And even if that means me out of my personal time, once my main focus obligations are complete, a lot of times it's just being able to maybe jump on a Zoom call or something and provide some coaching, consulting. I'm just like, hey, what are you looking to do? Here's what I'd recommend, strategy stuff. Or it could be, a lot of what we talked about tonight, like having a conversation of like, okay, how can I help you get over this fearless thing? How do I get you hitting send more often on your emails and your Facebook posts, and how you write your Facebook ads, how you do your YouTube videos, whatever it is. So I love, and this reason I'm here tonight, I love serving people's visions in the skill set that I've earned through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice. And so, yes, unfortunately, I am not taking on new client work, but always feel free to reach out. And also, too, I'll tease this out in your show, so this is exclusive. I am in the process of building out my own personal, I guess you could say, email funnel, so people can start to learn more from my journey. And it's called Fearless Revelations.
Nice.
And that is something I'm putting together. And, that's again on my own time. Just continuing to share stuff like this to keep the fearless through line, fearless copywriting, fearless revelations, but to speak more of my own personal voice in what I find inside those revelations every single day, and then share them, and just enjoy the journey together, and hope that I might be able to point someone in the direction that I needed to go, back in late 2019.
Awesome, brother. I cannot wait to check those out. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
You know what? It's going to sound cheesy, but best way is just hit me up on Facebook. Just hit me up there, send me a message. You could comment even here in Celeste's posts and such, and I can go find you or whatever it is. But I'm just keeping it simple like that for now. Or you could actually email me if you wish, jason@fearlesscopywriting.com. I do have that address going right now. There is no page associated with that because I'm booked. So I don't
Not
have
taking on any new clients right now. Got it. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask before. I was like, hey, how can they find you if they want client work? And I wanted to make sure you were still taking client work, which I know you got that dream customer or your dream client and all the things that are happening. I'm just, dude, congratulations. I just want to say that, you're absolutely crushing it. You've definitely earned everything you have through blood, sweat, and tears. No doubt about it. Your discipline is absolutely inspiring. And that comes from somebody who served with some pretty militant people.
Oh shit.
So
I take that. I'll receive that.
Yeah. And one last thing I wanted to mention, because I didn't get to before, is that for everybody listening, I look at JBoom as a brother, and also I give him the honor of being like my personal Gary Sinise, because he has never served our country, but he has the veteran community, our interests, our sacrifice, what we like, how we can overcome, like all of that is at the forefront of his mind. It reminds me so much of how Gary Sinise was touched by the community and then dedicated his life to do more for that community. And that's why I correlate those things together. So Jason, first off, just thank you so much, brother, for all that you do for our community, the veteran community. You've helped thousands of veterans through just my organization alone, through your written word. And I just want to say, brother, thank you so much, because it's made a huge impact. We wouldn't have, 10-figure earners, and it's insane what's happened in this journey. And you've been a huge part of that. So just thank you so much. And thank you so much for jumping on here tonight, giving us 30 minutes of your time, sharing you. Guys, definitely go back and watch the other episode. This is a really inspiring and unique human being that you need to get to know. So just thank you.
Dude, I receive all of it. And anytime you throw me in the wheelhouse of Gary Sinise, that's very humbling to me. And again, that's why I said at the beginning, it's a stone cold honor to be here tonight, serve your audience, serve your people, serve veterans, but in anything I've ever been able to help you to do. And guys and gals who are watching this, like we talked about, we're brothers from other mothers, and we have been in the trenches together at multiple different times on our journeys. And this is a man I trust. This is a man I respect highly. And it goes way beyond, the service he did for our country. It's how he has stayed ruthlessly and relentlessly committed to a vision that he told me about years ago. And to watch this come to life in the way it has. And he's, these guys are only getting started, but it's just, you can lean on this man to learn and to elevate yourself with new skill sets and a new mindset, because he's lived this shit. Like he's crawled across miles of broken glass, and he's bled for this, and he will bleed for you. Guarantee.
I received that, brother. Thank you. Liam saying JBoom is the shit.
Yeah, Liam.
And just thank you, everybody. I know if you're watching this on replay, if you found value here tonight, definitely drop your biggest takeaway down in the comments. If you found anything here inspirational and you know others in your life can benefit from it, definitely go ahead and share. We'll be here I'll be here same time next week, new guest to share even more wisdom with you guys. Cannot wait. That is it for episode 7 of A Look Behind the Curtain, season 2, guys. We'll be seeing you all soon. Peace.